One question on these old 8-in tractors that I see asked a lot on the, like on Facebook message boards, is what that little lever does under the seat. Now, it is a draft and position lever, and I'll show you how and why it works. And part of the reason it's not real self-explanatory on what it does is on some of these old tractors, it may not work properly at all. The entire time my dad had this for years and years and years, the lever did not do what it was supposed to do, and that made it real hard to figure out why or what it was there for. After I got the tractor, I figured out what it was supposed to do, saw that it wasn't working right, and went in and fixed it. Here's the little lever I'm talking about. And when it is in the up position like this, that is what they call the position. And that lets your quadrant here control the level of your implement. All the way up, the implement should be all the way up. You bring it down, it should go down in steps until you're all the way to the bottom. So we'll fire it up and show you. Right now the lever's all the way to the bottom. You bring it up with your hydraulics engaged, it takes it all the way to the top. Now you start bringing the lever down. Sorry, my seat's rattling a little bit. So that lets you set the position of your implement wherever your rod is here. So that's pretty easy. The other way is that you flip the lever down, and that puts it into draft mode. And what that does is that when you, and this is primarily for plowing, or it also works good when you're using the blade. When you have the lever all the way to the top, the implement will be all the way up in the air. But as soon as you start bringing the lever forward, see, the implement will go all the way to the ground, and it will start plowing or blading. And the deal is that the resistance the blade hits is transferred through this, and it pushes on your top link, which pushes through this assembly here and this spring and in there into your hydraulics. And the purpose of that is the higher you have your quadrant level, then the higher your blade or your plow will work in the ground. So with this, just barely like this to where it's far enough that if the blade goes down, it will pretty much stay on top of the ground, won't dig in. If it starts to dig in, it will start pushing on this assembly, and the hydraulics will start raising it up to keep it at a certain level. Same way with the plow. And the deeper you want to plow, the further you push this down. You run it all the way down, that thing will dig till you stall the tractor. Or at least it will with the blade for sure. And then you can bring it back up, and it won't actually physically raise it right away, but it changes the amount of resistance, the amount of force that this assembly here puts on the internal parts to activate the hydraulics. So that's how that works. So I'll show you, I'll fire it up and we'll put it into draft mode. See, the lever's down just a little bit. Bring it all the way to the top. The implement comes all the way up. So you want to start plowing or blading, bring that down just a little. She will plow just a little. And it will keep doing that. The farther down I push this, the farther that will dig. And when you're ready to pull the plow out of the ground, you bring it all the way back up to the top, and it'll come all the way up. As you can see here, this part pivots down at the bottom. So the further up you put your top link, the more force that it applies through the spring assembly that goes in there. So basically, the higher up you have the top link, the faster it will activate. If it starts getting into anything, this will push forward faster and easier with less resistance because of the mechanical advantage, and start pulling the blade or the plow up. Part of the reason I wanted to do this video is because, like I said, this tractor didn't work right at all when I first got it. And I have it almost right. I'm going to go back in and do a little more adjustment, but I wanted to explain this, so if you're just watching the other video, you can come back to this and see what I'm trying to accomplish, or you can get a better idea of how it's supposed to work. Right now, you have adjustment by moving this quadrant plate forward and backwards. And what the tractor is doing right now, when I'm in position mode, it won't go quite all the way to the bottom. When the quadrant level is all the way down, it lacks a few inches of going to the bottom of the stroke on the 3-point. And if I move that adjustment on the quadrant to where it goes all the way down, then the draft mode doesn't work. I pull the lever all the way to the top in draft mode and the implement stays down. It is adjusted to where all the way up in draft mode will bring the implement all the way up like it's supposed to. So draft mode works good, but then that limits how far you can lower it in position mode. So what I need to go in and do is set the quadrant. What I think I need to go in to do is set the quadrant to where it has full range and position control, and then go in, and up in this area there's a bunch of springs and levers and stuff that you can adjust, and hopefully I can get it to where the draft mode works properly too. But basically the key difference between the position and the draft control is where position just stays wherever you set it. The draft will self-adjust as it runs through the dirt. Whether it needs to drop down or go up, it will try to stay at the same level so you can plow at the same depth. If you put it in position mode, it will stay at the same level as far as the tractor goes, but it's not going to follow any contours in the ground. It won't it can dig in and start burying the tractor instead of raising itself up and letting you keep going. So it is a very handy feature, and it really works good with blading, because if you just drop the blade to the ground, if you're trying to use position mode, you're in a constant fight if you're just wanting to skim across the top. If you put it in draft mode, it stays pretty much at a certain level. If it starts to dig in a little bit, it'll raise itself up and keeps everything going smoothly. So it is very handy to have. And now when I see comments about what that little lever does on Facebook, I don't have to type in a bunch of stuff. I can just link the video. Like and subscribe for more 8N videos and airplane videos and Corvette videos. Just all kinds of stuff I mess with. Thanks for watching.